It's now Hillary Clinton who wants to start an air war with Russia over Syria by calling for a no-fly zone. We have 2,000 nuclear missiles on hair-trigger alert, and Mikhail Gorbachev, the former premier of the Soviet Union, is saying we are closer to a nuclear war than we have ever been. Under Hillary Clinton, we could slide into nuclear war very quickly from her declared policy in Syria.
America must vote for Donald Trump next month or risk being dragged into nuclear war. Even as the corporate media preoccupies itself with a weeks-old story involving 11-year-old tapes and allegations dating back 35 years, all signs point to a U.S. war with Russia. Putin's puppets are now emerging from the woodwork with a warning. The only path to mitigation of escalating tensions is a Donald Trump presidency. That's not hyperbole, folks. As it stands, a vote for Hillary is a vote for war with Russia. That is, of course, if Obama doesn't conjure up the ultimate October surprise, commencing a conflict with a nuclear state even before Hillary steps into office. What the mainstream media isn't telling you is this. The Democratic Party is playing Russian roulette, tripping over themselves to poke the bear from all sides. Here are the facts. The Obama administration says Russia is behind the damning WikiLeaks document dump. Now, Vice President Joe Biden is threatening an act of war against Russia because of those leaks.
Why haven't we sent a message yet to Putin?
We're sending a message.
So a message is going to be sent. Will the public know it?
I hope not.
While the CIA is actually taking measures to ensure that happens. Meanwhile, Hillary Clinton also blames Russia for the leaks and now says military combat is an appropriate response to cyber attacks, like the one she thinks Russia did, even though she has no proof.
You've seen reports. Russia's hacked into a lot of things. China's hacked into a lot of things. Russia even hacked into the Democratic National Committee. Maybe even some state election systems. So we've got to step up our game. As president, I will make it clear that the United States will treat cyber attacks just like any other attack. We will be ready with serious political, economic, and military responses.
Now, you might be thinking, wait, what? Democrats want to go to war with Russia over hacked emails, where, again, they don't have any proof? Well, they know that wouldn't fly with Congress or the American public, so they're escalating tensions on more front than one, from servers to the sky. Hillary Clinton has been absolutely unabashed about her hopes for a Syrian no-fly zone.
You support a no-fly zone?
I think it's only fair to look at where we are in Syria today. And yes, I do still support a no-fly zone. So when I was Secretary of State, advocated, and I advocate today, a no-fly zone.
Right now, Senator, for us to control all of the airspace in Syria would require us to go to war against Syria and Russia.
To be sure, a no-fly zone isn't some obscure media euphemism. By definition, imposing a no-fly zone in Syria is de facto and de jure an act of war. Any realistic plan for a no-fly zone includes bombing multiple targets inside Syria, surveilling Syrian airspace, and shooting down Syrian warplanes and helicopters that try to fly. Translation: Hillary Clinton is prepared to trigger a whole new war in the Middle East, where eliminating Russian-backed Assad, not ISIS, is America's chief stated objective. So between cyberspace and Syria, Democrats have, at the very best, generated the worst relations between Russia and the U.S. since the Cold War. Or, at the very worst, Hillary Clinton is dangling a match over the Middle East's World War powder keg, as all the necessary players are now positioned there. And even if U.S. leaders and media elite aren't bothering to pay much attention to what a Hillary Clinton presidency could mean in terms of two nuclear states going to war, well, the Russians, they are paying attention and acting accordingly. And when it looks like a dry run for World War III, Russia has moved nuclear-capable missiles nearer to the Polish border, i.e. NATO's doorstep, and is now test-firing intercontinental ballistic missiles from nuclear submarines and ground-based launch pads. Meantime, the U.S. allied Brits say a fleet of Russian nuclear ships have been spotted steaming towards their channel. And Well, it's not just the military hardware that the Russians are readying, but their people too. Russian authorities have recently conducted massive civil defense drills involving some 40 million people nationwide. Meantime, Putin suddenly canceled his diplomatic mission to U.S. allied France, and U.S. allied Britain just froze all Kremlin-owned RT bank accounts. On top of all of that, Putin has issued an order calling for all Russian politicians and officials with children studying in the West to return home to the motherland. So, is it any wonder that the U.S. military has now upgraded its nuclear attack readiness to DEFCON level 3, citing, quote, tensions between Russia and the United States for the reason for that upgrade? And yet, CNN and MSNBC think alleged sex scandals are somehow more relevant to the future of the American people. Folks, what I've just presented to you are just the facts. The fact of the matter is, Hillary Clinton and her henchmen in the Democratic Party are poking a nuclear bear over emails and regime change. The fact of the matter is, Putin is responding to that provocation by preparing his people and his military for war. And the fact of the matter is, America has not been at war with a comparably formidable army since the close of the Second World War. But that's not the case with Russia. Russia is not the Taliban. Russia is not ISIS, and Russia is not the Viet Cong. One look at Russia's military figures as they relate to their capabilities, from soldiers and tanks to ships and nukes, suggests a fearsome reality. War with Russia promises a bloodier result than any engagement in America's recent military history. Folks, there is a virtual media blackout in the West regarding nearly 12 high alert, significant international developments, all in the course of this past week alone. But the media, they love Hillary Clinton so much, they're hiding the extreme danger that America now faces, one of nuclear war with Russia. Neocons Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, aided by their useful idiots in the mainstream media, don't want Americans to know the truth. The U.S. and her allies are rapidly moving towards conflict with Russia and their allies. And the only way to stop it is by electing Donald Trump. For the Rebel.media, I'm Faith Goldie. Like what you just saw, click below and subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you can see all my videos for the Rebel.media.